All right, guys, here we are. Cards Corner episode
9.
I feel like a Star Wars episode. Episode 9.
Or
Mandalorian.
Season 1. Oh, we're still in season 1, right? So it can't be additional to, yeah.
It depends on how short the first season, our pilot season was.
If you guys get to see what goes on leading up to getting this thing going.
It's better than the show itself.
Oh, my goodness
Like they
gracious.
say back home, it's a fiasco.
It is a little bit.
The comedy. We're going on tour. Comedy Central. Here we go.
All right, so episode 9. We got a lot of great stuff planned for tonight.
Every week.
So we're going to talk, obviously, as we always do, we're going to recap product. We're going to talk about product coming out. We got some pretty gnarly topics to go over today. I think we're going to be a little more sports heavy, though, right? I mean,
gnarly?
Gnarly.
Is that like tubular?
It's like,
It's from your generation.
yeah, Grandpa.
Not on the East Coast.
Oh, excuse me.
Righteous.
Yeah, Washington language of the, late 60s, gnarly. So you derailed my whole thing. You know that, right?
That's
So anyway, we're going to recap product. We got some gnarly sports topics we're going to talk about. We do have a few card issues that have come up. And kind of some other things we're going to touch on. So one of the new features with the podcast, and I don't know if you guys have noticed it, when you watched episode 8, there was a commercial in the middle.
Beautiful commercials.
Did a really good job with it. Appreciate producers' work on it. Tonight, we're going to have the same middle break. It's going to be a different commercial. And then at the end, we're going to have another commercial, and we'll talk about that later. But let's talk about product to begin with. Illusions came out.
I bought my first pack right before the show.
Yeah, we did a rip on camera last week. I like it. Illusion's been fire.
Illusion, it's definitely got a different spin to it. The ones that I loved, that I saw a couple people pull, was the
acetates?
No, not the acetate. The sort of had Ed McCaffrey in the background of the Christian McCaffrey card.
Yeah.
Or there was the one with TJ in the front with JJ in the background. Those cards really were a trip. I like those a lot. That was
And
probably
those
one of my
usually
favorite.
are like the lower numbered.
Yeah. I think the one that my friend got, it was like out of 10 or something like that, and that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, and that was the JJ and TJ.
Yeah, I mean,
So
TJ.
the card doesn't have to be the hit to be.
No, it doesn't have to be
No.
a hot card. And then the other one, the name is leaving my brain right now, but it's the one with the 3-player relic jersey.
Lineage.
There we go. So that one, what was the one that was pulled? Was it?
It was
Favre?
the Green Bay, so it was
Favre,
Favre,
Rodgers,
Rodgers, and Love.
See,
And
I
then
mean-
we did a Detroit Lions one that had Billy Sims, Barry Sanders, and
Swift.
DeAndre
Oh, I didn't see
Swift.
that.
Yeah,
That's
was
sick.
That's a dusty card right there. Just love.
That is sick. Dusty, that's a shout out to you, my man. Yep.
Detroit.
So Illusions has been really good. We've actually had an opportunity to go through quite a bit of it in the shop. I mean, kind of not typical for that kind of product because it's a little pricey.
It's that $30. I mean, Phoenix right now is at $28, so it's in that same ballpark.
But people have been ripping boxes, and we've actually had a chance to see quite a bit of the product. The encased have been actually the lesser of what comes out of the box.
I agree.
Encased has not been impressive.
What was the best in case you think you've seen so far? Swift was a good one.
Probably Swift is going to be the best.
Yeah, that was a decent one.
And that's, I don't know, that's kind of surprising, but I think for product today, that's good. Because encased is what they're banking on to be the home run for Illusions.
Yeah.
And if you're getting more out of the regular packs than you are the encased, it's a better box for the consumer, I think.
The thing is it's got to be a tougher bullet to bite if you're buying just that encased pack. Like if
It's brutal.
If you're spending $100 or whatever somebody might be trying to sell it for, it's a harder one to try to risk. I mean, you're really banking on pulling a Tua, Herbert, one of those top 5 guys.
I did get lucky enough to pull a Chase Young to 50. I think that was probably the best encased.
Well, and then they did say there are some veterans, some older.
Correct.
So it's
That
not
is true.
just rookie base, so that's cool.
So we're looking to see, I'm hoping that we're going to be able to get into some more Illusions this week. We have a couple customers on Instagram that are pretty big with ripping it. So the more we get to rip, the more we get to see and experience, and that's important. But we also had MLS Soccer, 2020 MLS Soccer from Topps. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, as a local card shop, okay, we try to hone in on all the local teams.
Yeah.
So Euro soccer was huge, right? Everybody lost their minds over Euro soccer. So I figured MLS soccer would be not as popular, but fairly popular. To get sounders, stuff that people can go to games or matches. I think they call them matches, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They go to matches to see. And what I found is MLS soccer was a dud.
Yeah, no, that's what my soccer buddies say. It's like they're cool to have, but they're not valued. It's definitely more the European.
Yeah,
it's just the MLS is not getting like that homegrown talent. They're going to Europe to get the big money.
And so that's what my buddy said about rookies. And then they come here
when they're 40, you know?
They said about rookies, you don't really know who they are because they're coming from overseas, so you don't really get to build up.
And even our guys that are born here in the U.S. are going over there to play.
Yeah.
That's where
the money is.
That's where the money is.
So do you think MLS soccer is forever doomed until they change the way they handle it?
No. It's
maybe in the cards.
It's still a spectator sport that people enjoy.
It's crazy to me. So MLS soccer, the tops, when you talk just strictly product, it's a 3-hit box, right? And they are 3 autographs or mems. So when you see that initially, I'm like, 2 autos and a mem would be great, right? I mean, it was brutal.
I like the Josie Altidore and that
it was
card.
3 napkin relics. One was numbered to 50, I think. Yeah. And that was the one you're talking about.
You probably had more success with the U.S. women's soccer team.
Yeah.
But getting the Sounders cards were cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was, for me, not being a soccer fan and seeing people rip it or seeing you rip it, it was just nice. It was refreshing to see you know, a different brand, different sport.
So, I mean, even if people don't translate it, I think if I open another box or two, it can be stuff we can put in the case for the shop, I think, or something. So
give to the kids.
Yeah, there you go. So we got also 2021 Prism Draft Picks Choice and Fast Break released.
What's the difference?
Producer, can you hand me the Fast Break box? So I didn't quite prepare for the Fast Break version, but I'll definitely be able to show you what and obviously with the magic of television, you're going to be able to see up-close images. So Choice came out looking very similar to hobby boxes on this one. Kind of scary. 1-pack box.
Exactly
this big.
The same.
We're going to be talking about this a little bit later. Obviously, when there's an issue, I'm going to be fast after it. And for the first time, they decided to make a Fast Break product to be very similar to how they do Elite Extra Edition, how they do Stars and Stripes, how they do Rookies and Stars. They make it a 5-pack, 5-card box, when before Fast Break was typically an 18-pack box.
Oh, wow.
Why they went to this format, we do not know, but we will address this on a later topic. Now, the difficulty part of it, if any of you are chasing basketball, is all the boxes are damn near the same price. So you can choose between Hobby getting 5 autos, Fast Break with getting 2 autos, or Choice with getting 1 auto, and pay pretty close to the same price across the board.
You're just hoping that your odds are the one with the less autographs is going to be the more banger of the card.
So let me ask Tony. You're a guy that's not a super box buyer.
Right.
How do you process that kind of info? I mean, what do you think about it?
I go on the premise of thinking that the one.
I mean, if you had these 3 looking at you, how would you evaluate if you were to buy one? How would you evaluate that?
Solely as a collector, I'd probably look at it as I'd buy the one that has the 1 card. Because I'm feeling, I'm probably wrong, but I'm feeling that the box with the 1 card,
the choice
has a elite player, versus the box of 5 might have just
a better auto.
It'll be a better auto than the 5.
Sure.
And that all in all, the value of that one will be equivalent to the box of 5.
And that's that's a legitimate.
That's my theory, but
less
it's
work.
Just,
I mean, I think that's a good approach to it. I understand the concept. For me, and we're gonna touch on this a little bit later. Choice has always been a specific box type, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fast Break's always been a specific box type. Those are the things in the industry that you get used to. So when they unexpectedly change it on you, I'm going to be honest, when we unboxed it, it threw me for a loop. I didn't know how did we deal with that? How do you handle it?
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest, I think the consumer is speaking out because nobody's really touched it. I think people look at it and they're a little bit afraid of it. So.
And it can continue to be the same thing that we're having with this year's basketball product is there not being a draft. And luckily, this will be the last podcast that we won't know.
Before the draft, right.
So with the draft being tomorrow, Wednesday, we'll have a clearer idea of where everybody's going, and maybe once they do establish a team, their value will go up depending on what team they go to. So
along with other players that might possibly be traded during that draft. So
sure.
There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of commotion going on right now.
How do you think about LaMelo? How do you think he shakes out? Do you think he goes number one or no? I don't think he does.
I think he does.
Really?
I think there's a lot of draft picks being traded, so I'm curious if there's going to be more trades before tomorrow.
It's going to be crazy, right? And then camp begins in 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're in talks right now, I think.
This is going to be an unprecedented NBA season, right? They're going to be drafted.
Talk about a fast break.
And then going to camp. It's not a lot of fanfare, boom. Not a lot of, press time. It's draft pick, boom, camp, see what happens. So it'll be interesting, but it's going to be better that way because I'm going to tell you, when you're trying to navigate the landscape of basketball product and there is nobody drafted, it's a desolate landscape. You have no idea.
It's like Tatooine.
I saw something that was cool though today on Panini's Instagram. They send up I don't even know, freaking almost life-size cards to each player that's going to be drafted, and it's it looked like it was a prism style
like card. A canvas.
Yeah, it was huge, and it was cool to see some of the reactions to some players were totally stoked for it. Some, I think they were too diva. They really were like, oh, what do I need this?
Show
for?
Me the money kind of thing.
I mean, you got to remember too, is players have been getting their butts kissed for how long? I mean, these basketball guys, when you're scouted out as a prospect when you're in high school, right? Everybody's throwing everything at them. So I think when they get to
the NBA doesn't have a cap.
Right. When they get to the money part, it's not a big deal to them, because they're used to everybody fawning over them. So
it was nice to see some humble guys.
Sure, absolutely. So talking about a recap, looking forward now, we got some gnarly. I mean, we've talked about it previous. November is a gnarly release month, right?
Fatty.
I mean, the day before Thanksgiving, the release before is crazy big. Now some have
been
yeah, some have been pushed, right? But there's going to be. I think we originally slated 15 releases for the day before Thanksgiving.
Oh.
I think that's been whittled down to 10 right now.
Okay.
So 5 have been pushed. So not quite as scary for us on the financial end, but still enough to make you kind of go, okay. So the problem I see, though, is you get that many product going into Black Friday. Black Friday typically can be a big day for a shop.
Yeah.
How do people process if you get 10 new releases
too many selection,
and they have everything else to choose from? Is that just sensory overload?
Yeah. I think nowadays there's too many people with sensory overload.
We're going to find out.
Especially on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So this week releases 1920 Immaculate Basketball. Now that is Immaculate Basketball, NBA logos.
It's a pretty affordable product, right? Pretty cheap.
Yeah, I mean, $2,700 a box.
Oh, yeah,
I think everybody.
I got that.
Everybody's in the market for that. I know you're lining
Sugar
up
Mama.
I'm waiting for MLS soccer.
Yeah,
it's right on the shelf over there.
Immaculate MLS.
Still?
So tomorrow releases 2020-2021 Upper Deck Series 1 hockey.
Oh, there you go, Tony.
Young Gun Chase. Tomorrow's the release for that. We have a few boxes coming, a couple more slated at the end of the week. Upper Deck's a nightmare right now. So, and then at the end of the week, we have 2020 Leaf Ultimate Baseball. That's a little more scary. That's a little more.
I don't know too much about that one.
So Leaf Ultimate is one that it's probably the lesser of Leaf's titles. Okay. It is not as sought after as Leaf Metal or Leaf Trinity. People tend to take it or leave it, but you get a lot more deeper prospects out of it. So it'll be 5th rounders, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Typically wouldn't be in product normally, right? So
Cards that
Leaf
your
metal
mom-
is
your
kind of
mom
good
was
for
gonna
that.
buy.
So, but I think now, I mean, that is all. I mean, this week is a week. I mean, 3 titles is kind of for the month of
It's a
November
soft one.
is kind of a soft release week. So, I think. What do you think? Should we open up 1920 Immaculate?
My hands are sweating right now thinking
sweating.
about
You
you
guys are
opening
ready.
that.
All right. Well,
What's the heat? What's the heat up here?
Yeah, the heat.
we're gonna do this, and I'm gonna have Tony
let the
help me
dogs
here.
out?
But
Don't let Tony.
Yeah. No.
all right. We're going to rip some Immaculate, and I'm going to regret this, I believe, but
Not as much as a producer.
yeah, we're going to see what
Can we get a
happens here,
sponsor
so-
to pay for this rip here?
Yeah, if you're looking
Calling
to,
all sponsors.
if you're looking to sponsor Cards Corner, we are accepting all offers at this point.
yeah, no,
Especially if you are a coffee and or a liquor company.
yeah, I'm down with that.
How about donuts?
Donuts, yeah, oh, yeah. The Fiends,
Is there a good donut company anymore?
No.
Dunkin' Donuts.
Is Dunkin' still in?
It's the East Coast.
It's the East Coast. I did like their donuts when I was on the East Coast.
Oh, producer. Are you sure this is a good idea?
Yep. Do it.
Are we dual knifing it? All right, so I got to adjust my microphone. So through the wonderful
All right.
power of media,
We're not going to cross swords. So.
So what do we got here? We got 5 cards.
I believe it's 6.
Okay, 6 cards. So let's get some ideas. What do we?
Well, let me get the original packaging off. So we have always the nice pink little tin.
We're
Okay.
getting a banger. We're getting a Jaw. We're getting Zion. We're getting Tyler Hero. All 3.
We're popping that right off and right away. So we don't have a booklet most likely because you see how flush that box is. It is going to be your
That's pretty
standard fare. Usually when it's fatter, that lid is more off. You
Huh.
know, you have a booklet and
not
or a
bubbling up.
super thick card. So
Sometimes the big ones aren't the best ones.
that is true. Size sometimes
not
does not
matter.
matter in this industry. So this is actually brutal. This is the most expensive product I have ever opened.
It's like donating plasma or something right now.
And I saved it for the podcast. I hope you guys appreciate that.
I
by the way.
Oh,
appreciate
look at
it.
him. He's drooling.
All right.
The card's beautiful.
So here we go. Oh, magic on the back. I don't even know how to.
Those are some big boys.
Good Lord.
That guy better stay in Portland though, right there.
All right. So you see, first up, right? It's TJ McCollum.
They just made a trade.
All right.
They sent a first rounder to
Are you
Houston.
available or no? Well, I was going to do a turf and dirt.
Oh,
Teaser.
I might as well get a turf and dirt action out
get a
of
little
this
plug
thing.
and play. We need some Cards Corner decoy cards.
Yeah.
Oh shit,
Oh,
dog!
you've got to be kidding
That-
me. Did you see that
don't
shit?
you-
I didn't. He saw it. I didn't see
Don't
Did
even.
you see that shit?
Okay, the podcast is over.
That is huge.
This
Go to
is.
commercial break.
We are going to go
That
buy some
is-
alcohol.
I am partying my ass
I-
off. That was huge.
I may have wet myself.
Oh, taking a drink.
Yeah. Oh man, my hands got moist on that
Did you
one.
really not see
I
that?
didn't see it.
Bullshit.
I did not see it.
You saw it.
He saw it. You had it from the side.
You had it this way. You had
I
it.
didn't see it.
Angle of the dangle.
He's gonna freak.
Oh man,
He is gonna freak. All
that
right.
was dope.
So first up, we got, and these are no joke thick, guys.
That is a big boy.
So what is the retail? 2,700. I said, yeah.
2,700.
So number 299, CJ McCollum.
So CJ McCollum, that's going for like
Not too bad.
2,500.
I wish.
Paid for the box.
I appreciate the optimism by D-Mags over there,
yeah,
but
no,
so 130 point. It looks like pretty legit,
that is a shout out to CJ.
man.
Just get through the other ones.
I
here.
need to breathe a little bit because there's supposed to be some decent before the last card.
Oh, good, because that
And-
last one is.
Oh, freaking aim. I am not a big basketball guy, but I'm a believer in kind of the
the magic of it all.
pretty good, like Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Holiday time. Here we go.
Shit.
We got to 49 jumbo
Oh, Mr. Stash.
jumbo
and,
jersey.
and a man bun.
Steven Adams. Yeah, he's got your.
He rocks the man bun.
So Tony was, thinking about the man bun earlier. We convinced him to
Spare us.
sans
Was
the
it-
man bun.
Was it
so-
numbered?
Not the card you were.
To 49. What?
You were drooling over.
No,
right? Okay.
the last one. The card is last.
Yeah, it's the last. How's your shoulder doing, by the way?
Okay.
Are you surviving?
Mm-hmm.
What do we got?
Oh, 10 of 10. PJ Washington, Hornets, part of his number.
eBay 1 of 1.
Of course, he had to go right there.
Hey, a 10 of 10.
That is sick,
that's
though.
gold.
Remarkable relic, PJ Washington. Now, didn't we talk about there should be 3 autos, right? 3 autos, 2 mems.
Well,
What does the box
we've only
tell
just
us?
begun.
Because I would like to know before I go deeper.
I didn't read it.
I'm sweaty through the gloves. I'm telling you right now.
What do we got?
Modern marks to 75, Javon Carter, Phoenix Suns. I do not know who this gentleman is.
I do not. Is it got a mem or is it just
It's an auto. Straight up auto.
Don't look. Close your eyes, Tony.
Jason Richardson.
Oh, J Rich. Nothing like
Heralded signatures to 25. Are we down to the final one?
We're down to the final
Hold on.
one.
We are down to the final one. Goodness.
I did see the bottom one when you opened the pack up,
Yeah.
but I only saw the player. I don't know what's on. I don't know what kind of card it is.
Yeah.
Well, we looked at what was on the damn thing. All right, ready?
Harsh
Here we
and
go.
blows.
Boom. Magic Johnson
God
jersey. Actually, I think that's sock auto to 35. Magic
Oh, man.
Johnson.
That is.
Ugh.
Let me.
Look at that bad boy right there.
Is the card different? Like, is there a glare to this?
It's a different little shimmer to it than because it's
kinda
Laker
like coated. It's
gold.
almost like
It's
gloss.
Laker gold.
Is it his
It's
sock?
beautiful.
It's got it. I mean, is that his?
No. You know what it looks like? It's
Is that his fight strap?
It's the.
Right.
It's right around the shoulder there.
You know what I'm excited to. I'm excited to
To
put
comp
this
it.
in the case.
Oh, it's a. Yeah, that's.
Like this is a beautiful card.
It's probably
I
a
mean-
$30 card.
Oh
I'd
God.
put it up there with a 58 mantle.
Oh sheesh.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna talk about that here in a little bit too, but
Magic Johnson.
that's
See, now
pretty sick.
Growing up in California, I watched a lot of Lakers. My dad was a huge Laker guy, so I watched a lot of the Magic.
So it
But
doesn't
that's-
quite fit in the 130, so we're gonna go for a 180 action. It's actually pretty sick. I mean, I love the older guys.
Yeah, I mean to get a accomplished man like that guy.
So there you
I
go.
mean,
That
he's
is
done it all.
Magic Johnson.
WNBA, he won a title. Won a title now with the Dodgers and won a title while playing with the Lakers.
I guess that is true, huh?
You mentioned 20 of 35.
20 of 35. Yeah,
so
that's
that's
pretty sick.
Too bad it wasn't 32 of 35.
Now there were some decent cards to come out of that, so I
Yeah,
mean
I know.
that wasn't too bad. So
That is sock material.
is it sock?
Let me see.
You seem disappointed.
No,
It is what it is.
it's a beautiful card. That's all
It
I'm
is
saying.
Oh
absolutely.
man, he's got a nice signature too.
He does. I mean, Magic is pretty. I mean, I don't think the problem is though. I don't think the younger generation appreciate who he is, where he is in the industry. So
I was hoping like with Phoenix and some of these other Panini brands, it'll tell you when it's like an off the wall if it's not the jersey or something. But this does not. It just says enclosed game worn / used material.
game worn though, that's pretty
Yeah.
sick.
Does it smell like
I
a
like
sock?
that. Did it?
I don't know.
I smell mine.
Not sweaty enough.
Did you really just say that? By the way, he did.
Oh man.
So it's pretty sick though. I am happy with that autograph. That
Yeah, no, that was
could have gone a lot weirder, I think.
Or
No,
better. Could have been Kareem.
oh no, I'll
Would
go with
Kareem
Magic.
be better?
I'll go with Magic.
I don't think I would think I would rather have a Magic, but
James Worthy was.
Was it Lou Alcindor? I'll take Lou Alcindor.
oh, there you go. That
We won't go no Kareem.
Milwaukee Bucks generation kind of.
Yeah, give
There
me
you
that.
go.
I can imagine you guys if it was Kobe.
Oh shit.
God, that's not even funny.
God.
Get that Kobe redemption pack.
Oh,
Stacy then made a face right there. So
to be received by 2038.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that is our product preview for episode 9.
That's definitely still for some big ballers, though. I mean,
I
at
think so.
2,700 retail. I mean,
we won't see any more of it. So that is the only box I'm going to chase, because come to reorder time, that's going to be a $2,000 price tag for me.
Yeah, no.
So.
No, I think that was a good one. Hit it and quit it.
All right, so we're going to kind of shift gears here a little bit. So the last episode we touched on, we had a little attempted break-in issue of Turf and Dirt. Well,
it's become a theme.
After that happened, almost all hell broke loose locally and within the card shop community. So what ended up happening, if you guys aren't aware of it, when was it, last Tuesday?
Yeah, coming into Tuesday, right before the podcast.
We had a potential guy tried to break in, popped a screen off, tried to push a window, did the whole thing. Crowbar, didn't get in, left a crowbar in the flower pot. We ended up backing up security footage, saw he left a crowbar, called the police, did the whole thing. Police gave us the crowbar as a souvenir. Now,
appreciate it.
2 days later, so we buttoned down the hatches after that happened.
Security locked up.
Turf and Dirt is as secure as it can be. So if you're going to break in, I guarantee you're going to be missing a foot when you go to leave, but we'll talk about that later. 2 days later, a sports card shop north of us, from about 15 minutes or so, door smashed in, and there's a debate on how much wax was taken, but
supposedly roughly 18 grand.
Right around that ballpark of product was taken off the shelves, and there's an alleyway next to where the shop is, and the burglars, as they smashed in the door, took off down the alleyway, dropped some boxes in the back as they were getting into the car.
Where was I?
When the police responded, when they did their walk around and did their thing, whatever it is they do, they found a box. I know for sure a box was left in the back. So they took it, dusted it for prints, couldn't find any, brought it back to the shop owner.
So they dusted for prints there?
I believe so. Yeah. That's how it was explained to me.
Different county.
It is different city police than Bellingham. So they operate differently up north, apparently. So anyway, once this happened and we got on the radar with Turf and Dirt, then the shop up north was hit. And then all of a sudden we were getting messages across the board of either jewelry stores, coffee shops, other card shops, banks. I mean, it seems like it is Armageddon, lose our minds right now.
COVID time, shut down.
So I'm curious to hear your guys' take on this, but we had all the smash-ins. So I actually went up to the shop up north, paid a visit to the owner.
Yep.
Try to help out as much as I could. I looked at the smashed-in door, okay? That's a door with safety glass, right? And so it's going to take you a minute or two to bust your way through that.
And
Tempered.
We're talking about main street of this town.
Correct.
Which a lot of traffic flows through there.
Now at
Sonic's open,
at 4 in the morning, I don't know how much flowing through there, but
the old people going to Al's Diner.
You're probably 3 blocks from the police department.
Yeah, no.
So it's going to take a minute or two to bust through that door. And when I looked at it, the door it's not a big dude. Like if I tried to get through that hole, ain't happening. I'm getting stuck halfway through.
Yeah,
I drove probably small and nimble so you can get out of there.
I drove by after, I guess, when the guy was there replacing the door, and then I saw the new door being put up. But it's a gutsy call. But then to steal in that location, to go for the hobby boxes, it's not in the front of the store. It's not in the side. You have to go all the way to the back of the store, the back wall. And so, to me, there had to be multiple people, because there's no way that one person is getting out with that much product on the main street of this town.
Bypassing a lot of good stuff.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, autographs and high price singles. So they either knew what they do.
All kinds of stuff.
They either were frequent shoppers or visitors of the shop.
Some of that wood furniture he sells.
Yeah, it seems a little odd to be what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, in my opinion, I mean, you can't be a card guy doing that, right? I mean, because to be honest with you, when I walked into that shop and I walked through, did somebody die?
All right, big rats.
Okay. So.
Damn it, Stephanie.
Was that Stephanie? Okay. So I'm looking at it. I'm looking in case, and there's tens of thousands of dollars worth of singles.
Legitimate.
Legit.
Right.
Not the owner saying, "Hey,
no." Like my evaluation of it, legitimate. Right. Like if you were a card person, F the boxes. But I'm smashing the glass
Ali
case.
Gloves.
I'm taking Muhammad Ali.
But if you're a breaker,
Mickey Mantle shoes.
Well, I mean, maybe.
If you're a breaker, you're like, hey, I'm getting these boxes and I'm going to make bank.
So what was disturbing, though, is we ended up getting a message from Columbia Sports Cards in Vancouver. They had been broken into roughly the same time that the shop up north and roughly the same time frame that the attempt happened here. And so we assumed it was a very similar smash and grab. And then it was a couple days later when we finally got the full detail. I could not believe.
What?
Wow, that's like a comedic timing to that, right? I could not believe the story they told. So, Columbia Sports Cards, very big in the hobby. They're very big supply dealers, right? But they I mean, they're big with selling supplies, but we've been in their shop before. I've actually traveled to it, walked in there. A lot of cards, do a lot of online stuff. So during the day, as they were getting closer to closing time, somebody was surveilling the business long enough to know when the guy behind the counter was, bagging up trash, coming to the end of the day. He waited until the guy goes to the back area to do whatever he was going to do. He comes busting through the door, not busting like breaking, just running through the door, jumping on their case to grab a box or two of basketball. And at this time,
at $2,700, I would too.
Because people are obviously watching this guy do this, right? The employee, notices, dare I say, dip
shit,
jumping on the counter.
Bypassing the OPG hockey.
Hockey and the MVP.
Mistake of his life. Numero uno.
And he gets a box or two and runs back out the door. I don't know. I mean, I'm not up to the whole current, criminal lingo, but to me that seems pretty brazen to be casing the joint, waiting until the employee is tied up.
That shit's gangsta.
And then in the middle of the day, go in there, jump on the counter was no joke. Like the surveillance footage.
He thought it was Dillinger?
It was like you had to have a 10-foot vertical.
Was it a glass case? Could you imagine if he
was a glass case.
He jumps on it and he falls through and he's like, it's stuck inside. Kick me out.
Yeah, and he didn't break the glass when this crackhead landed on it.
That's some light. Good on his feet. Nimble.
Yeah.
So
he might be a ballerina.
What do you think about that? That is nuts.
Well, I wouldn't say that there's a card shop ring going on.
No.
I wouldn't put two and two together. Like the guy up north steals the cars, the guy down south steals the supplies, and then they put their stuff together. Then they give it to the eBay seller.
No, I definitely think it's just where we are in the hobby right now. It's a craze,
But like he said they broke into they hijacked the Cruising Coffee.
Yeah, they freaking robbed a local coffee shop.
Okay.
Give me what's in the register and make me a chai tea.
And by the way,
it's COVID crazy,
right? And by the way, if you're the dude with the blonde locks, all permed hair, blonde hair,
they're looking for you.
And on camera, you robbed the Cruising Coffee, dude. Really?
Comment on our page here and let us know who you are.
What he should have taken was the Cruising Coffee cards with the little
the thing, punch cards,
the punch cards with the thing. To get yourself free Cruising Coffee for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I know the Cruising owners. They shop at Costco all the time. So
I mean,
good people.
I don't know. I'm ending my.
And we're not poking any fun and making jokes, but
no, but it's a wild time we're in right now.
It's crazy, right? So I have a customer of mine that I haven't seen in 3 months. Okay,
90 days.
It's him.
He popped in to. God, what day was that? Thursday.
Sure.
Pick a
Must
day.
have been Thursday. So I hadn't seen him in 3 months. Comes in. We ended up staying open later.
Like you always do.
Correct. And he works at a local jewelry store. And the jewelry store is very big with getting like estates and everything. And so I'm still, kind of burnt over the guy trying to break in here. The shop up north break-in was fresh.
Yep.
So I asked him, have you guys had to deal with break-ins where you work? He said, yes. Since I've been there, we had 2. 3 years ago, we had 1. A year and a half ago, we had another. What are some of the challenges you guys had to face with dealing with the break-in? He said the year and a half ago, it was tough because not only did he break the window, but he cut himself and bled everywhere.
So now we got DNA evidence.
So now not only do they have to worry about replacing the glass,
Biohazard.
there is nobody to clean up the blood.
Oh, man. Did he bleed out?
I mean, the guy, from the sounds of it, the guy bled a ton in the business.
But if you know anything about that stuff, you just pour bleach on it, destroy all the evidence.
So he goes, but it's been a year and a half since we've had to deal with it. It's rough times. Like we're securityed up, everything else. So great. We appreciate the info. He did his business, left. Next morning, get here, open the shop, phone rings, producer answers it. Guess what? Our customer who works at this jewelry store says, you never guess what happened last night. We got broken into. And like, I was shocked. I didn't know what to think, right? Like, and apparently the person that broke into this place didn't set off a sensor. Like, knew where everything was and was able to avoid detection.
Former coworker.
Laid off employee.
Yeah. Fired, dismissed.
Unemployment, I think.
Yeah. So now he's making double bank. Unemployment bank.
There you go. So I don't know what it is. It seems like the wild, wild west.
Yep, the COVID west.
A little freaky, but so we want to touch on it, and I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. If you're in the collectible world and people know that you have things of value,
lock it up.
You need to take steps to protect what you have. Now,
put it in your windowsill.
I'm going to tell you right now, if you're one of these guys that I don't want to spend extra money to protect what I have, if somebody breaks in and takes it, you have no room to bitch. Okay?
No foot to stand on.
You need to protect your stuff and do whatever you can to do it. The one thing that I give us credit for here is every incident that's happened from the Mike Schmidt card being taken up until, Shop North being broken into, we've always taken steps to modify what we're doing in response to everything that's happening. People need to do that, be aware of it, especially as we're going forward because we're getting into the Christmas season.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
shopping galore,
your
potentially.
Card needs to be locked up. Jeez.
So, all right. So we're going to shift gears again. So we covered Prism draft picks earlier. Now, what I wanted to talk about was, for the first time, for some of you that know, when it comes to Panini Choice products, whether it be football, baseball, basketball, right? Doesn't matter. Choice has always been a product that comes in a micro box, right? Comes in a small box. You know what it is when you see it. It looks like the big hobby box.
Yeah.
This is the first time, and I'm going to hold this up. So this is the hobby box of Prism draft picks. Here's what it looks like. And for the first time, here is the box of Panini Choice. A 1-pack, 1 autograph box. Now,
but wait, they look the same.
This is the first time that Panini has decided to make the boxes look almost identical. The only difference is the Choice says Choice right in the upper, if you're facing it, the upper right-hand corner. Now,
and you got the 1-pack.
As an LCS owner, one thing strikes me about this. We're not really big in this country of reading labels, right?
Correct.
So what this tells me is Panini is hoping that if they make the Choice look like the hobby,
joke's on you, you're buying.
People are going to pick the Choice over the hobby, not paying attention to it, and make the Choice sell better than it has in the past.
But they might be making the wrong choice.
What do you guys think about that?
it's once again they're just trying to trick the collector out there.
In this day and age, though, does that disappoint you? I mean, to know that a company is going to be actively trying to, I mean, because that's a pretty ridiculous measure, right?
I say the same thing all the time. Every podcast I've said the same thing. It falls on the customer or the individual, the collector buying it.
Yeah, I just think it's expected now.
You got to read your product.
It's expected. You got to be on your toes,
So what happens in my situation where I have somebody who buys it who doesn't read the label, takes it home, opens it up, realizes it's a 1-pack box rather than a 5-pack box.
But this is hobby, not retail.
So I'm going to go back and, it doesn't matter. People will still bitch and complain.
You are educated enough to where you will be telling them this is choice. This is 1 pack.
You're a card educator. You're an enthusiast.
You're not going to be like,
I have
give me that one.
I have other individuals running the register that might not, if it's busy, be able to clue in to maybe ask the appropriate questions. Yeah. So how does that get handled?
Well, what it comes down to too is, what are they looking for? Because you don't know. Maybe they're not mad at getting the choice instead.
Tomorrow, they're looking for everything.
After the draft,
that's it.
You know what? The guy behind the counter is going to educate, at least in this local card shop.
For sure, yep.
They're going to educate the guy, and they're going to ask the right questions, and they're going to say, hey, okay, you want the Prism draft picks? Do you want the 5 or do you want the 1?
But it's like, a comment one of our viewers made about, sort of making it a bummer about people trying to trick you or fool you on eBay about things.
Sure.
And it's like with stuff like this, it might sour them as well. Like he made a comment saying that that's not cool. New collectors might not want to know that they're being duped.
I think it's more of a breaker thing than a local card shop thing.
Yeah.
The local card shop's looking for that customer.
Yeah, they want that repeat customer for sure.
The breaker, it's just a $sign.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest thing, right? In basketball, typically, at least over the last year, is not a cheap product.
By no means.
That's why they're stealing it.
No kidding. So, and I found it comical, and we're going to throw this in just because I believe in
miracles.
The Monty Python version of our world. They decided to take Fast Break and make it like Elite Extra Edition,
It's like the mini-me.
Stars and Stripes.
So you got 20. You got
Rookies and Stars.
I don't want that box.
So the question demands why all of a sudden the dramatic, and I'm talking dramatic because this used to be an 18-pack box. 18-pack box. And it went to 5 packs, 5 cards. That's a pretty dramatic change, right? And no indicators. It's just out of the blue, this arrives, and I remember picking it up going, what is this? Stacy said, read the top.
It's the retail version.
Says, what it looks like. Fast Break. What the hell is going on here? And that is what?
Just companies just repackaging and,
It's giving me headaches.
Yeah, I know. It's too many options.
No, it's the product. It's freaking me out. So, all right. So we're going to shift gears again because if I keep on this, I'm going to end up taking a box and throwing it out the window.
We're going to rip it.
We don't have 3 hours in our day.
We're going to talk about grading again. Now, my God, grading has gotten out of control.
Crazy.
Okay, so we have been spending about 75% of our time answering grading questions. Grading, should I grade this? Should I grade that? Where's my stuff? Would this be good? Do you have this? It's grading. So I don't understand. I don't understand where this is going. Grading is absolutely insane. Now, the thing that throws me is everybody's going PSA, right?
Yep.
PSA is the way to go. Okay, I get it. The resale value is better. Okay, here's an example. We had an economy shipment come back yesterday. PSA 10, Patrick Mahomes, Color Burst, Prism. Case hit. $5,700 last sold. PSA 10. Great. Good value. Raw, it's what, $500? So that's a big jump.
That's
for a PSA 10. So you take an SGC Gem Mint, same equivalent as a PSA 10, sold for $600. Now that is an insane
difference.
Third tier grading company. Now I understand SGC is not as reputable as PSA, but what the hell is going on? That is a big difference.
Buying Armani and buying Kirkland Signature. I don't like that's like the only thing I can think of.
That guy is gonna rip open that pack. He's gonna tear open that case and send it out to PSA.
And that's the thing. But everybody then. But here's the problem, right? So homeboy that gets the card, right, sent it to PSA, gets it back as a 10, shows on Instagram, hey, look at this, beautiful card, worth a lot of money. Everybody and their grandmother sees that post and goes, oh, PSA is the way to go, and they absolutely flood everywhere with PSA submissions. Now, what does PSA do in response? Well, we're going to shut down grading levels because we're overwhelmed. People don't realize that the more that you submit to the grading companies, when they come back, there is going to be a flood of cards that are going to create a downturn in the market.
Yeah. So you better hope you get yours back first.
Oh, fumble, shit.
Devin about died right there.
Backhanded that thing.
So, and what I'm talking about is Donruss football came out. Everybody was going after rated rookie Burrows, rated rookie Tuas, rated rookie Herberts, right? Everybody felt their stuff was a PSA 10, flooded PSA with cards. Right now, they're in grading in space. When that avalanche of cards is released to the viewing or the collecting community, that Joe Burrow PSA 10 that might be a $300 card, by the time that tidal wave is over, it's going to be a $25 to $30 PSA 10 card.
You think so?
Absolutely. But
because
the more you enter into the marketplace of these cards, the less value they are. If you look at Zion Williamson Prism, when I looked at the population report of PSA 10s, it was 2,500 plus.
Wow.
PSA 10, silver Zion Williamson, 2,500 plus. That means you're not getting jack for your card. Maybe when population report was 10.
PSA's making money.
Oh, of course. They're rolling in dough.
I've noticed some of your viewers, though, too, when they're ripping on Instagram, it's like, grade it. What does it look like? Grade it.
And it blows me away. It drives me insane because for me, I get it if, you're able to, this isn't what you're doing for a business and you're able to have cards tied up forever, great. But
see, I personally, if I'm going to grade it, I'm probably grading it to keep it just for the encased fact of it. But I don't think I'm going to spend my time to grade it to flip it.
But the part that is insane is, okay, if you weather all that and you try to understand why they're doing this, that, and the other thing, and then it becomes when you provide a grading service, right? Everybody loses their minds. You can sign the papers that say, we don't control the speed of PSA, blah, 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 right?
They still think that you got them in a chokehold.
Right now with
Holy hell.
With every single e-commerce retailer.
It's crazy.
It doesn't matter what you're doing. You're buying gun parts. Yeah, you can order it now, but we don't know. We're overwhelmed.
It's like toilet paper. When are you getting toilet paper back? Yeah. I don't know.
And the crazy part is there's no end in sight, right? I mean, and it gets nuttier than a squirrel turd every week we have. I mean, it seems like the political juggernaut that is our life, right? Every little shutdown, every little quirk just
impacts.
It does. It totally tweaks, and people start to lose their minds. And it's been. I'm gonna tell you right now, as a shop having the PSA or grading segment of it's been a nightmare.
Don't advertise it.
I'm considering eliminating it, to be honest with you, because we are spending more effort and energy answering questions that we shouldn't be answering, but still are, and we don't make any money doing it.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
But the problem is, when you send stuff to get graded, the guys that have accounts and things that they do this for a living, like they make their house payments and crap on grading other people's or sending other people's stuff in to get graded, they get bumped to the front of the line. And that means the rest of us that are lesser on the food chain kind of take it in the rear and have to wait. So right now, if it gets any more insane, we're going to eliminate the the whole shoot and caboodle.
And it might be better for business. So, I mean,
it could be. I mean, I don't understand the grading. The grading juggernaut is
overwhelming,
absolutely insane. And it seems like I am fielding more and more phone calls on a daily basis about, I have cards to grade. What do you think? I mean, what do I do? Do I tell them it would be stupid for you to grade right now? Or do I just say, sure, let me take your money and we'll grade it? And
if they're grading Pokemon, then sure.
But the problem is, if we do the thing and I don't educate, then a week later, where's my cards? Well, PSA has them. Well, where are they? PSA says they're in their mail room. I have no idea. Can't do anything. Well, PSA runs at their own clock. Well,
you got to go in there
and do something. I even had a gentleman one time ask me, if I drive to PSA and give them my name, would they give me my cards?
Oh, of
Actually,
course.
somebody asked me that.
They have a drive-through service now. Because of COVID, it's drive-through.
And you know what I told him? I said, I don't know, but
Oh, hey, I just used who sold something.
That's a beautiful sound, by the way.
That's not me.
But I told him, I said, you know what? I don't know, but it would be a good experiment. Let me know what happens when you go do that. Let me know what the results of that are. So you're a guy that doesn't understand the grading world, right? You understand it.
I understand it. And I'm the guy who...
How do you view it? Is it nuttier than a squirrel turd or what?
I think so. I just, now that I've educated myself, I've learned, throughout these last 9 podcasts that the whole grading process, because I used to think back in the day, you submitted it and you got it back fairly quick.
Yeah.
And that probably was the case before the pre-COVID thing and, before the COVID thing. And, but now it's ridiculous. Now I'm just kind of like, you know what? Let the guy get it back. Let him put it on wherever he puts it on. If I want the card, AKA my Pistol Pete's, and purchase him like that, and see where the price goes.
So the crazy thing is, part of the PSA grading, like PSA is good with vintage cards, right? A lot of people try to send, because any grade vintage, a 58 mantle PSA 4, extremely valuable compared to a 58 mantle raw, right?
Yeah.
So the one thing that I was shocked about is we had a run of vintage cards that came into the shop, and I had to comp close to 100 vintage cards.
Ooh.
We're talking about 58 Mantle. We're talking about late 60s Roberto Clemente, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays. I'm talking about 1960 Topps Warren Spahn, for crying out loud.
Oh, man.
All
history.
And when I talk about vintage, I'm talking about late 50s, 60s, and early 70s, okay?
Yeah, that's the historic.
I was absolutely shocked
Floored.
and embarrassed to tell the guy who was looking to sell these to me what the comps were.
It's the new generation.
But what strikes me is vintages are history, right? That is where sports cards began. People collecting Mickey Mantle, and if you want to go further back, Honus Wagner, Ty Cobb.
Yeah.
That is the start of what we do today. That is the essence. That is the soul.
The foundation.
Backbone.
The backbone of Turf and Dirt.
Gee.
I'm good at what I do, by the way.
You got mail.
So, but that is a problem, because I think vintage is dying. I think it is dying a slow death, and it is down a path that nobody can stop.
Whose
It's
fault?
the generation, man.
Whose fault is it, though?
I think it's the generation. These guys want the here and now. They don't want the was and has-beens.
This generation was raised by the right generation.
Right.
And so that's what I think is...
Maybe they're just not being educated.
Yeah, maybe they got into the hobby on their own, and they weren't raised in the limelight.
They've seen all these guys in the limelight.
So I'm going to be honest with you. I called Stacy when the gentleman brought this binder in. I told Stacy, I said, a bunch of vintage came in, and I'm being flat out honest. I said, this is going to cost me $1,000. Are you okay with me spending this to buy some vintage? Yep, do it. We need it. Okay?
Yeah.
I could not believe what the end result was. To get every name out there.
$1.50.
It was quite a bit less than $1,000.
Jeez.
I was devastated almost. People are going to go, well, you're insane because you got vintage stuff for cheap. Yeah, But
that's what it was selling.
I'm about the health of the hobby.
Yeah.
Right? I would have been fine with $1,000.
Yeah, if you were paying for the worth
Correct.
of it, the value.
And you're telling me a 58 mantle is worth $60.
If that.
Maybe. And that's on a good day. Are you effing insane?
You got to be playing 61 on the screen in here.
So, I don't know. I mean, I looked at it because vintage was, when I was raised in this hobby, and I'm talking when I was with the other guy, vintage was the holy grail, right? The money was made when it came to vintage cards.
Because he was vintage.
He was vintage, but he had some valuable lessons with it, and it was vintage card. I mean, that is the cornerstone of what we do.
Yeah.
And I could not freaking believe what vintage. Now, when I say vintage, a 12-year-old thinks vintage is 88 Donruss. Well, vintage is not 88 Donruss. 88 Donruss is, I almost said it, but 88 Donruss is
doggy doo-doo.
Nowhere near there. It is, when we talk about vintage in a shop, when you hear a shop LCS owner talk about vintage, they're talking about 40s, 50s, 60s, maybe early 70s. That is pushing it.
Cotton uniforms.
That is right. Flannel, burlap sack jerseys.
Right. Short shorts for the NBA.
What do you call it? What do you call it?
These are guys that if you were outside of Babe Ruth, you had a grocery store stocking job.
Hey, watch out. Kurt Warner had that job.
In between baseball seasons. You know why how they came out with the can of corn phraseology?
Yes, I do.
Because guys, when they would have to practice catching, they would knock cans of corn off the top shelf of a grocery store and catch it.
That's how I stock my produce department.
And that is how they came up with the term can of corn, which you hear in baseball before COVID, and I think that's changed because I think saying can of corn is racist now.
Yeah. I like corn.
So, PSA's dying. That would be a woo, but I think vintage is dying a slow death, and I don't know what the hobby looks like, because I think
it's like it got COVID.
It's kind of like, like if you go, okay, if all the flies in the world died, you would think, what's the big deal? But then if all the flies died, and then you saw like half the population died because of the chain that flies affected, right?
Yeah.
You lost me.
So I look at vintage,
maybe
right?
bees.
There we go.
Is a down the line chain that if it dies off, it will affect cards today. There will be a reverberation, a wave to affect what goes on with cards currently.
Unless we just continue to breed idiots and,
Well, I mean, let me ask you a question. I mean, because
years.
you guys are looking at me like, what the hell are you talking about? So let me ask you, if all of the 60-year-olds died immediately, right? That era, just boom, gone. Would everybody be okay with it? Would you be like, oh, sweet, nothing's affected, everything's...
It would just keep going on.
There would be some effect to it, right?
Yeah,
so I think
a little bit of trickle down effect.
So I think if vintage dies, there's going to be a trickle down. It might take a while for that reverberation to get to 12-year-old Johnny in his bedroom.
It just depends on, does it continue? Do we see? Well, I guess 80, 90 was really dead, anyways. But
I don't know. It strikes me as scary.
But it doesn't shock me when you got the 10 and 12-year-old who are like, oh, I got Michael Jordan's posters on my wall, and this guy never saw this kid,
right?
Yeah.
This kid never saw this guy play, and now you're all about Michael Jordan. Where did that come from? That came from his parents.
Yeah, but that's a good thing. I hear a 10-year-old talking about Michael Jordan. I know he understands the essence of.
I know he watched Space Jam.
That too, Last Dance, and the whole 9 yards. So, I don't know. I would just hate to see what would happen to the hobby if, vintage became unattainable like T206 Honus Wagner.
Well, I mean, ask yourself the question: when does a card become vintage? When does this new generation of I don't know what
I think that era just is vintage.
I don't think there's an answer to it.
I don't think vintage clothing.
Yeah, well,
because there was a certain point
shop.
There was a certain point that all of a sudden 88 and 89 became vintage, right? To the 12-year-old. There wasn't a line of demarcation that you passed that goes, all right, now that's vintage. One day I asked a 10-year-old because he asked, do you have any vintage? Oh, you're talking about six? No. What? No.
I got 88 Donruss.
88 Donruss. I'm like, you think that's vintage? Yeah. What do you call it?
Wax packs.
Do you know who Mickey Mantle was? No.
Mickey Mouse.
Do you know who Roberto Clemente was? No. You know, Willie Mays was.
Get out of here.
Is he he's the old guy that like sometimes will be like in the tribute shows and waving at the camera, right? In the suit. Like that's what they like, really.
Yeah. But here's the thing: you mentioned Pete Rose, although vintage, they know who he is.
Oh yeah.
Well, because he did some.
So my man deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
There you go.
He did some stuff that Tony La Russa can't do.
Oh, and we're going to get into Tony La Russa here in a little bit. So right now,
I'm feeling like Tony La Russa right now.
I think it's a good time. We're going to take a little commercial break. This is going to be actually a break that you're going to want to watch. This is going to be a message from Turf and Dirt. We have a program starting up. We're going to talk about it on the other side of the break.
On the flip
so
side.
Stay tuned.
And we're back.
All right, guys. So I don't know if you were around when we talked about, typically I like to keep politics out of what we do, right?
Yeah.
Not really.
For some of us, right? So,
but it's the holidays.
So when we had election episode, right? Devin liked to name it trade deadline that didn't happen, right?
The lack thereof.
But something happened the other day for us Washingtonians that kind of affected some stuff.
We're locked up. Don't let us out.
So so for us at Turf and Dirt, there are two hats we wear. Okay, so we are an LCS, right? That is one hat.
Local card shop.
Right, but at the same time, I'm a small business owner in a small community.
Correct.
Okay? And we went back into lockdown. There were several businesses that were affected as a result. I wasn't expecting to be affected as much as I was. I know that the first lockdown that was 3 months long, there were businesses that failed, right? People's lives were ruined for the sake of viruses and COVID. And don't get me wrong, I understand the seriousness of COVID. I don't dispute that. But at the same time, I sometimes wonder our solution of dealing with it and the train wreck that it leaves behind. Now, I know when the governor decided to shut the state down, there were businesses that limped out of the first shutdown that had failed altogether. Now, I didn't realize the magnitude of it until today when somebody that's kind of affiliated with the building we occupy owns several buildings within the community. And there were 3 large restaurants that turned in their keys today. Said that we cannot survive. We cannot go into debt any further. Here you go. Take what you want out of the restaurant. We're done.
Ouch.
It's devastating.
That's rough, yeah.
We're in a community where eateries are huge.
Well,
and they're the ones who are suffering the most right now because
yeah.
shops get to stay open at 25% capacity.
I mean, and they're flat out coming out saying right off the bat, 100,000 people are going to lose jobs. They're going to be unemployed by whatever time frame.
Now, you are employed by a large retailer in the community.
I am an essential employee.
So there are, buckle downs that you guys have to do, right?
Yeah, I mean,
mainly probably contain the amount of percentage that walks in there.
Yeah, so it's still the 25% capacity. So they changed it. We're 600. I work at Costco. 675 people is sort of that ballpark number that they're looking at. What I find crazy though is great. 675 people But
seems like a lot.
You can't restrict these people that are entering your building to stay apart. So if 675 people are in the shop and they all want to buy produce,
they're all going to be in the produce section.
They're all in produce.
I didn't.
So a small business,
and if you're me, you're talking to everybody.
A small business could only have, your shop can have what, 7 people?
So we never understood our square footage capacity before. I mean, there's, usually when you walk into a business, it says max occupancy is X, right? We never understood that. So we actually had to figure out the square footage. We were about 800 square feet. Now, our max occupancy, according to a COVID site from the state, is 27, believe it or not, in this shop. 27 is our max capacity.
Because I heard you made a comment the other day when you were on one of your Instagram live, feeds or whatever you want to call it. You had mentioned something about, they narrowed it down to like 5 people, and you're like, hey, that's a typical day for me.
Right. So we have to go 25% of that, which is like 6.5 people.
Yeah. So
which is a typical busy session for us.
Right.
6 people in a wheelchair.
But others aren't so lucky.
No. And my heart broke for the ones that aren't so lucky. So we, as a card shop and have an online presence, we're unaffected. And matter of fact, we have the opportunity to grow from these horrific situations. But there are other businesses that don't. And one of the things that I had to watch forcefully the first time is I would stand outside this door and I would watch local businesses put close signs. There were 2 businesses just over here on the main drag here that
James
closed Street. Right off and I would drive by the out of business sign every day. I didn't think I would be affected as much as I was when the announcement was made that for the next month, these restrictions were going to be in place for certain things. So, but one of the things I noticed, and I watched my daughter, okay? So she's a 9-year-old in a local community, like local school district, right? And one of the biggest things is she wants to go to school.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing, right? Kids want to go to school, be around their peers, right? This COVID thing, I think, has affected kids the most, right? I mean, kids can't go to school. They can't interact with their friends. Online learning. You have a runny nose. You got to do all kinds of crappy stuff.
Yeah.
Now
you can't even collect your 12th place award.
Correct.
Participation.
And then now we're being told that if you want to have Thanksgiving, you need to do it by Zoom. If you want to have Christmas, you need to do it by Zoom.
Good luck with that.
And I thought, you know what? What do we do about the kids who have had it and taken it in the shorts the last 6 months? What do we do for them? And I talked with producer, and I actually put this out over the air, and Devin weighed in on it and thought it was a great idea.
Love it.
And we're going to go forward. But we decided to start a program that is called Operation Mail Drop Santa Style. Here's what we're going to do. All kids in the community, locally, as well as anybody that can hear our voice, right? Anybody that touches turf and dirt in the social media world.
Yeah.
If you have a letter to Santa, okay, it doesn't matter if you are a young child, a teenager, an adult, I do not care. If you have a letter to Santa that you want to get out, we want to have it. We want you to email it to us, drop it into the shop. If you want to come in and write the letter at Turf and Dirt, we will have special paper and pens and envelopes for you to do and put it in. We have a Letters to Santa metal container that the letters are going to go in. We are going to have the police shut down Kentucky Street, and we're going to have Santa and maybe a special guest come and collect the letters. And the reason why is the worst thing in the holiday season is to watch the kids suffer. And I think if the kids know that Santa's hearing their message, their Christmas might be a little bit better.
It's something to believe in, something to look forward to.
Correct. In this time of COVID and everything else, I think
light it up.
What we need to do is get back to what our roots are, and that's believing in the magic of a season. And I think that is important not only for children, but I think adults as well.
Yeah, no, I think...
we're so big on hate your neighbor. If you're different, you make a big... let's get back to just a solitary belief. And I'm going to tell you, if you don't celebrate Christmas, Santa wants to hear from you too. If Christmas is not something that you typically celebrate, but you're kind of feeling down, you have a wish, you
Use
have
your voice.
something, write that letter, because Santa doesn't discriminate against anybody.
Vote.
Just use your voice.
And vote. Yeah. But we want to hear it. We want to get it. We want to collect it. So it's going to start on Black Friday. So we are going to begin to collect letters, and it's going to go till around December 20th, I'm thinking. And then after that, we're going to have Santa come collect the letters, and we're going to go from there. So get after it. If you guys want to participate, I think it is it's a great thing. Like, I have not been more motivated with anything turf and dirt related than I am with this.
Well, and then to add to it, we talked about, trying to put some little gift
Correct.
boxes together, wrap up some little white boxes with a pack or two of cards in there and some base cards, just something, from turf and dirt, from Santa, something to give to them, have something to look forward to under the tree, just if you want to help donate some, a pack of cards, like buy a pack of
Correct.
cards, and we'll put it aside and we'll box them up, we'll wrap them, and we'll hand them out to the local kids in the community. I mean, you don't even have to step foot in the store. You can drive by and we'll do a dunk into the car.
Yep.
I mean, we'll do anything to, keep the faith in the kids and keep everything, spirits up.
So one of the things I'm big with is holidays. Holidays are important to me, and I believe in the magic of Christmas. I think I've seen some crazy miracles happen during the Christmas season. I've seen some stuff you can't explain. I've seen people that hate each other, but at Christmas time come together, arm around each other, and will carol, will go to dinner together, will break down those barriers. It's time we do it now, because I think if we don't, we could be lost.
Yeah.
We could be lost. So you will,
cats.
you will see information be put up both on Turf and Dirt and Kards Korner. You're going to see information regarding Operation Mail Drop Santa Style. You can contact any one of us. You can contact the store, call us, doesn't matter. If you have questions about it, please let us know. We'd be happy to answer them. So we're going to get that going, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing what the end result is.
Yeah, no, I'm pumped.
So, all right. So we're going to get a little into some maybe possibly comical stuff coming up.
Here we go.
So we're going to shift gears to baseball a little bit. Okay. So I was amazed and made a comment, and I can't remember who I made the comment to, but Tony La Russa, right, brought out of retirement and named as manager of the Chicago White Sox for the 2021 season.
Brought out of retirement or retirement home?
Yeah.
Both?
I think both.
To manage a young up and coming
Right.
team.
We're talking about
Millennials.
a Lou Bob driven team.
Yeah, well, Eloy Jimenez.
Cubana Missile.
He played in Cuba, by the way.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, La Russa is a childhood guy for me, being an A's fan growing up watching him. So
I'm going to be interested to hear kind of how Devin weighs in on this, but I was listening to a fellow podcaster earlier today and brought up the idea or the situation of Tony La Russa being arrested for DUI. And it was not only his first, but his second arrest for DUI. And it happened the day before the White Sox announced that he was going to become manager.
He was celebrating.
Is that how you chalk it up to it?
He was celebrating.
yeah, he was.
Now, the thing is, so in 2007, he was, arrested for DUI. I don't know what the end result of that was. I just know that there was a charge and it was dealt with. And so the police report was obviously gotten on Tony La Russa for this latest arrest.
Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna go through a couple quotes, because when I heard these, I started laughing because I couldn't believe, and I don't know if it's just drunk people.
Yeah, I definitely think
or
this.
what it is, but Tony La Russa, if you're familiar with him, he has managed some of the best teams in the history of baseball. He has, presided over
One of the best players.
some of the greatest players to ever put on a uniform.
Yeah.
Correct?
Vintage guys.
Yeah, vintage. Jose Canseco.
Vintage.
Mark
But
McGuire, Dave
You're
Stewart.
going to enjoy these. So the first quote of Tony La Russa when he was I think it was during the
arrest phase.
Right. It was like the
over.
sobriety test kind of situation.
The right to remain silent.
He tells the officer, bro, I am a Hall of Famer baseball guy. When I heard that, I died laughing. I couldn't believe that somebody like Tony La Russa would be hammered enough to be on the side of the road with some, Kentucky State Trooper, whatever it was, and be like, bro, I am a Hall of Famer baseball guy. And then at the same time, I'm assuming in between drool, right?
In between sips.
He was talking about, no kidding, I am a legit Hall of Famer. So I know that's funny and everything's kind of, ha-ha about it, but, Tony La Russa was obviously doing that to try to get out of getting in trouble, right? Somebody coming in to manage a team, and it's a team full of younger players, and we're talking about a younger generation following baseball. What kind of message does that send to the kids, or, more importantly, to the younger players on the team that, guess what?
If manager can do it, I can do it.
If you're clever enough, you can try to do it, and there's no consequence as a result. I'd like to hear your thoughts about it.
I mean,
don't everybody weigh in at once?
I don't think. I don't think it's a cool way. Obviously, he was drunk. He's having his issues. But going into the young team, that's what I have the problem with. It's too young of a crowd to set that example for, and because now he has no leg to stand on if one of his players acts up, trips up, screws up, whatever. What is he supposed?
That's the thing, right?
What is he going to say? Well, he has no room to speak on any.
But we hear this day in and day out. As celebrities always do. They always try to throw their weight around because of who they are, what they are,
or women.
So
celebrities.
Are we at a point though that we just need to stop evaluating them? Because if they're going to use the excuse and they get away with it, nothing happens. We just talk about it, laugh for a minute.
Like Tony says about the shopper buying a box of cards and blindly. Like, if a state trooper lets him off, that's his bad.
Sure.
Like, that's his fault.
Sure.
No.
Not all cops, not all state troopers. That's that one individual's idiotic move. Hopefully he gets an autograph out of it or something.
Season tickets.
Now, probably for him, being a fan of Tony La Russa, that probably doesn't affect his view of him.
He's a Hall of Famer, bro.
People make mistakes. It's plain and simple. And the mistakes aren't always serious. Sometimes they're funny. But
do you chalk this up as just a innocent mistake? Like, oops, my bad.
I've lost friends to drunk drivers.
Sure.
And so I'm not even toying with the fact.
It's like shooting yourself in the leg.
Throw whatever at him. It's probably pocket
Plexico burst.
Yeah.
It's probably pocket change to him. Whatever the court cost.
Sure.
And all. And if you don't think he has attorneys or the team's gonna issue the attorneys, he's
probably
going to
an
do some
attorney
sort of
too.
Probably community service or something that they're going to have him do, and who knows what.
Now, the interesting thing was, though, the podcaster I was listening to brought up the idea of, okay, fine. You can argue morality. Everybody does it on a daily basis, right? Right or wrong, ha, 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 funny, funny. But let's take a look at the deeper question. So Tony La Russa has been out of baseball. I know he's been
out of managing.
But out of a clubhouse, right? Out of a day-to-day operations of a team.
A leader.
He comes into a team that is not only just young, but a state of the game that is incredibly analytical. And he is an old school manager.
Yeah.
Right?
And nowadays you're seeing these managers that are managing nowadays, most teams, these guys are in their late 30s, early 40s.
Right.
Well, you look at a guy
they just came out of the league.
They just got out of the minor leagues.
Exactly.
Right?
I can understand him bringing him in as like president or of operations or some higher,
You get guys like Dusty Baker who came back.
Correct.
Ron Gardenhire. Like, that's another old school.
But he got fired though, right? Did he get picked up again? Or?
Well, he was with Detroit. He came when Detroit was last year.
He didn't. He still has a job in Detroit that you know of?
That I know of. Yeah.
Okay.
So you get some of those old school guys. Yes, the generation is moving towards the younger coaches,
in all sports.
Catcher
in
coaches.
all sports.
And, yeah, that's correct. Steve Nash getting a job. That was pretty awesome.
He got a job, really?
Steve Nash is the Nets.
Nets coach.
What's even better is he.
The funny part is,
but he's analytical. The guy knows the game.
The funny part is, I talk about Tony La Russa. You guys look at me like I just talked about crickets or something, and then you guys hammer on me about Steve Nash. Like, where were you? You
Nash is
should have
also-
known that.
No.
Well, then it's great because he hired his former coach to be his assistant. So I think that's
Right,
just even
you know.
ironic.
But that's the nature of the beast, and that's the nature of the game.
So how do you think a
the
guy
team's
like?
going to want to be the one that has to deal with it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I know we have no
say.
insight outside of being a fan, right? I mean, I think we've kicked around minor league baseball a little bit, right? So we kind of understand the inner workings of kind of that kind of scene.
How come he doesn't get
My
fired?
question is,
How does
well,
that translate? I mean, how does Tony La Russa translate to a Luis Robert?
My question is, who thought of the idea to begin with?
And that's the part
How did
that
you eliminate? Who knows how
Well,
many possible
the
coaches?
joke was when he got hired, it was the Tigers, I believe. Or so it was actually. So Tigers do have a new coach because a new manager because they said thanks to the White Sox for blowing it, and they took AJ Hinch.
Correct. Yeah, and I think I remember it coming right out of suspension, and I know Alex Cora got a job back with the Red Sox.
After his debacle.
Yeah, but see, in all this, we're seeing how is Tony La Russa getting away with what he did, his mistake, and still keeping his job.
Correct.
Carlos Beltran had his job for a hot second, and because he was somewhat tied up in that stupid Astros mess, he lost his job.
Yeah.
Was he? I mean, because I heard reports that
He was a player on the team.
heard reports though that he was active in figuring out the banging sequence.
But I mean,
which,
he was a player. Like
Right.
he wasn't the leader telling them what to do. He was on the team.
he wasn't a guy just like he wasn't like Verlander, where Verlander claims, "I watched him do it. I didn't have anything to do with it in particular, but I saw it happening."
But still, that guy. I mean, he couldn't even keep his job. But then
Right.
you get a guy who can't even
I get
keep
what
his
you're
own
saying,
shit together.
right? Like La Russa gets busted for DUI, still has a job, still regarded as La Russa.
Yeah, but Beltran
But
can't even.
Beltran is loosely
and
tied
then-
to the Astros.
And then now you're saying Cora and Hinch both get jobs right after being
immediately,
suspended.
as soon as their suspension was lifted, it was announced that they had jobs and were getting back into baseball.
Why did Beltran not get hired to a job? Like if he was already a candidate who deserved a job, I
It
think
can't be the Latin ball player thing
He got
because Alex
shafted.
Cora is Latin, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so is it just because Beltran? I mean,
I don't know. I just think
Who
that
knows?
I thought he would have been a great coach.
You know,
so
like
that's
we
what
talk
sort of
about
gets
where
me, and I was a fan of his.
Democrat or Republican doesn't necessarily matter. I think it's just jerks is
Yeah,
what
so
is the controlling. Is it could be just
Could be.
he's a
At
jerk.
my
or-
second job, I was listening to one of my clients.
How many jobs do you have, by the way?
That's
two. But my client was watching a talk show, morning talk show, and it was Dolly Parton. She says, I'm not Democrat, I'm not Republican, I'm hypocrite. And that's what I feel like this world is. Definitely a hypocrites. I just thought that was
Hey, I like to toss
ironic.
something out there. On a more serious note, I don't know if you guys heard, but we want to send out our thoughts and prayers to Tommy Lasorda, who's hospitalized.
Yeah,
Did you guys hear about that?
I
He's
did
in
not.
ICU. Yeah, he's 93 years old.
Well,
hanging in there.
definitely
And
prayers
odds
up to-
going on.
I mean, odds are not going to. I don't think they're in his favor, but yeah.
I don't know. I just
mean,
wanna
Tommy
bring it up.
Lasorda, he was a staple in 80s, 90s baseball, right? I mean,
Yeah, vintage.
well,
I want another thing to shout out is the new general manager of the Miami Marlins.
There you go.
We got a first female.
so
Kim
what do, you,
Eng.
what do you think about that?
I think that's
I love
great.
it.
But you know
I love
what?
it.
Look at her freaking resume. If anybody
Not that. Did you see her World Series ring she was shining?
yeah, but if anybody deserves a job, the woman barely looks like she's 40, but she's been in a high-profile job for 30 years. She's been assistant GMs for multiple teams. That's how Jeter knows her. She was back with
I think she's got 3
Jeter's
rings.
Yankees.
She's got 3 rings.
Yeah, she was with the Dodgers, and then she also worked for MLB. So I mean, her resume is
She started out as an intern.
fantastic. I mean,
She was on. What is the Good Morning America? I saw her interviewed there, and it
Really?
was a very raw.
she was.
I
she
mean,
deserves
no,
it. She
I mean
deserves
the interviewers
the
were
interview.
very
Yeah,
raw
oh,
Dude,
about.
I think it's.
Oh,
I
no,
think
I think
dope.
it's great. I think it's great. And she's a.
I'm going to be honest. I'm embarrassed to say I didn't know of her in the landscape.
It's okay. Your mind's on other things. You're a
Well,
busy
I
guy.
mean, it's
No, I think
It is
that
what it
that
is.
is a definitely a great. You're
Yeah.
talking about something for the future generations. That is a great thing.
so we're
For your little
seeing
girls, maybe.
yeah, my
we're,
little girl
we're
for
seeing
sure.
barriers broken down, right? We've seen
In all types of ways.
female referees in the NFL. We are seeing
even in NBA.
Right, we're seeing female assistant coaches in
quite a few of
professional
those.
like NFL.
Yeah.
We saw for the first time Everett Aqua Sox experienced it. We had female trainers, first time in professional baseball.
Yeah.
Everett was a leading team,
Wow.
hiring their one of their first female. And then we're looking at more barriers being broken down. I think sports is better the more, quote unquote, flavor you get, right? The more input there is,
Diversity.
the more diversity there is, the better off I think sports are. And who knows? I own a cat or two. Maybe one day that cat will be
The cool cat.
Baker will be assistant manager of, the San Antonio Spurs or something.
Yeah, that's possible.
So the
there's
other
positive notes. There's positive things.
there is absolutely, and there's another big breaking news story in baseball. Theo Epstein
Stepping
down after how many years?
9 years at the Cubs.
With the
Building a championship from the
Well, he
GOAT
built one in
curse.
Boston.
Boston comes over to the Chicago.
short-term championship. Then that team sort of melted.
Where do you think he's going?
Seattle.
He says he wants to do
East Coast.
He wants to do nonprofit work. He wants to do
Sure,
put another
right.
chapter in his resume. What do you think he's doing?
I've also heard rumors with Billy Beane maybe disappearing out of Oakland.
I thought he was pretty anchored down there.
But there's some talk about him partnering up with somebody in Germany with some sort of baseball organization over there.
I'll say it now.
So
You heard it here first. I think he's going to the Phillies.
I could. That's definitely an up and coming place that I could see.
I think Jerry
Too many
Dipoto
needing him.
superstars.
I think Jerry Dipoto is named as Seattle Mariners' new manager, and Theo Epstein is named GM and head of baseball operations.
Jerry
Here's
Dipoto's he's there for good. He's already built his bed.
Watching Pardon the Interruption. What am I chewing?
Watching PTI.
Watching a little PTI today. Wilbon says, and Wilbon believes he would make a great GM for the Chicago Bears.
Oh god.
Crossing into football.
Yeah, because he's a Bears fan and
He's
he
a Bears,
doesn't know.
Bulls, Blackhawk guy.
Yeah.
So he is automatically a Hall of Famer, right? Building two championship caliber.
First, whatever you want to call
And
it.
a young gun.
No,
So-
he's definitely a Hall of Famer. Guaranteed.
Let's assume
They brought
he
that up,
crossed. Let's just pretend for a minute, okay? Let's hold hands and do it.
Kumbaya.
Let's assume that he goes. Let's say that it's reality realized, and
Yeah.
he goes over to Chicago, becomes the Chicago Bears GM, takes that team from what it is, doesn't have to win them a Super Bowl, but becomes a winning, competitive,
Organization.
getting to the playoff every year kind of team. What kind of stratosphere does that propel him into? Is he going to be the first professional baseball, professional football GM to be named into the Hall of Fame?
That's the next step
He's
for
already
Magic.
going into the Hall. That's not a question. He's
correct.
done
But
deal.
if you're Theo Epstein, you're looking to really cross over.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You want to make a mark. Like, okay, it's cute that I did two baseball teams and made World Series, right?
I'm hardcore. Go to women's soccer and do some.
But let's go to the Seattle Storm. Oh
There
wait,
you
no,
go.
they're already
They're
they're already
already champs.
champions. So
Yeah.
we don't
Yeah.
mess with that. So, all right, we're gonna leave baseball aside, and Devin's gonna love this one.
Whatever you do, Theo, best of luck.
Correct. And if you do come to the Seattle Mariners, if you would like a permanent kind of 5-10 minute segment on Cards Corner, we
Yep.
would love to have you.
Man, you're tight.
So next we're going to talk about Russell Wilson. So
This is gonna be a short segment though.
4
Yeah, 5 for
weeks
7,
ago,
5 for 8.
he was the hottest thing. He was going to be, dare I say, he was the heir apparent to Tom Brady as the greatest quarterback of all time. 4 weeks ago.
I dare you say I don't know who the hell would say that.
I
but-
Are you kidding me? Everybody that would come through the door.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
forget Adrian. Remember, Drew Brees got hurt. He's not dead.
yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I think he's
My
peeing blood
God.
right now though.
Punctured lungs.
So then he has a 3-week just absolutely
It's gonna be 4 weeks.
laying an absolute
Turd.
Agony.
turd egg, however you want it, like
lentil
a,
soup eating. Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
But what's weird, what I notice as a non-Russell fan, is he seems erratic. Like normally he's composed, and he's decisive with his his throws.
Guys, everybody goes into a slump. It's
But
a
it's
team
not.
sport.
But it's not a
Did
slump.
you see the
I've
riff
seen,
though?
It's like
Carroll and him.
it's panic plays.
It happened to him. It's happening to him. It happened to Josh Allen.
But it's panic. We're talking about a guy who's.
Are you talking about an exhibition?
We're talking about deep into his career. We're talking about he's deep into his career, and he's having these
deep
8 years. This is his 8th year in the league.
Panic plays like
what's Tom 17?
Unlike him,
19, easily 19. Right, he was in 01, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 2020, so he's 19th year in the league. 17, 17 you're undercutting him a little bit.
Deep purple.
He's not 2. He's not 3. He's not Lamar Mahomes.
Is that a Prince reference?
At least he doesn't run
Purple
like
Rain.
He doesn't run. At least he doesn't run like Sonic Murray.
That is
Kyler Murray. Sorry.
That is the MVP. I'm saying it right as of right now. He's the flavor of the month, Kyler Murray. And if he beats Seattle will, Thursday night, Seattle will be scrambling.
So by the way, if you hear my voice, the game will be on at Turf and Dirt. If you want to come in and sit around the rip table and
only 6.5 people are allowed in here though.
Correct.
Jimmy will pay you gas money.
Tony will be outside monitoring, making sure that we got tickets
doorman.
taken. That's right.
I'll get one from Costco. You could have a ticker.
The concern though is, and it's an interesting progression because Russell Wilson was MVP 4 weeks ago, and then now it's how much does he have to lead a team? Is he a leader? Is he a pretender?
But prior to that,
how do you change in a 4-week period from being the best in the league?
You're in a slump.
But also,
you're in a slump.
And I won't put it all on him. He's had some missing pieces. No run game. I mean, 1 and 2. Hyde and no Carson.
Chris Carson, I am a fan of yours.
So that's tough. You're talking about
everybody knows he's throwing the DK and Lockett.
DJ Dallas.
DJ Dallas.
DJ Dallas, I believe in you. DK, I love you.
Yeah, so
okay, go ahead.
It's a little, and then that line, the defense, Shaquille Griffin, you got a lot of missing pieces. So I think maybe he's feeling the weight of the team, like I got to do everything more so than others.
Was there a period where Tom Brady was in a similar state and Tom Brady rose above?
Tom Brady was in that state every year with that crap
no team around him. He had no weapons.
He had limited stars.
He rose above,
but the coaching staff had a game plan.
He rose.
They executed
he brought everybody up with him.
They went and won.
Wow.
I mean, 2 weeks ago, they were ready to hang Brady, and now look at it. He just got Player of the Week.
Yeah,
did he on FanDuel?
No. In real, we follow sports,
We do. Oh, what is that?
Devin and I do.
Is that soccer or
Suka?
Chess. All right. So we had big news in the NBA too. Big news today.
Trade.
Well, Chris Paul, right?
Yeah,
announced
Chris Paul trade.
Phoenix Suns, and then
they have a team still, Phoenix.
I think so.
Yep, Devin Booker, partner in crime.
I think they're moving to San Antonio.
They're actually calling them a playoff team now.
Yeah.
What did I say? They all
with
make
Chris
the
Paul,
with Chris Paul.
Okay. And then of course the Giannis talk or Giannis, depending on who you are, is heating up dramatically, right?
There's always been rumors that he's going to Golden State.
So he's in his last year of his contract.
Lakers.
People are talking about free agency. They're like, if you stay in Milwaukee, you're not going to be the legacy that,
But
it's just not a big market.
But Milwaukee is now making the trades they made, that helps him a lot. That helps him quite a bit.
But if you do like Chris Paul, rural shout out. Here we got a Chris Paul basketball autographed.
Steiner, authenticated.
Steiner.
Legit NBA Spalding.
I don't think Giannis is going anywhere.
It's got Aaron Spelling on the front.
He's got a nice signature.
Who's the Aaron Spelling? Is that the commissioner of the NBA? Aaron Sundberg.
No.
So I just thought that would be funny. All right,
he's scrawny little.
We'll laugh later. We'll laugh off air.
Mr. Clean, but with some glasses.
Yeah.
So. All right. So FanDuel. What the hell happened?
I thought I had something good.
You were coming. You were coming close.
I was coming hard, man.
So, but we had enough. We had enough to go into a second.
League,
though,
we had
right?
about 25, 26.
That was better than the previous week.
Yeah,
right?
no, it's been getting good.
What is usually the indicator? What gets that going?
How many people I can get for my work to sign up.
What were your thoughts on my guy? When I had Dalvin at the end for the last. Wow.
Did he get hurt though?
I knew you were gonna.
No, he landed on his cojones.
Yeah.
On a ball, he dropped the ball. Huh?
So what
I knew you had a shot.
What is the English translation to cojones?
Huevos.
I knew you had a shot, But the only thing was, it was
eggs,
Chicago's
right?
defense I knew was going to shut him down to where he needed a 3-touchdown game, and I just didn't see that coming from that matchup. So
did you see
I gave it a run.
Did you see my boy Cordella Patterson running back
105
yard touchdown run?
But so shout out to my youngest boy. He's been working hard at trying to figure out how to get this math of a FanDuel team together, and what's crazy about it is his team had 2 zeros.
So my next question would be, how the hell do you get a kid old enough to be 21 to play FanDuel?
Nobody's 21.
Oh,
you don't have to be 21. It says you can parent approval. So
parent approval, producer. All right, so we got.
Sorry for those that I turned down on Instagram because they were not old enough. Sorry.
Oh, bummer.
Poor
They
kids.
can get parent approval though, right?
The governor has spoken.
Yeah.
So we got.
Yeah, I'll take my third place.
But yeah, no, it was close, but it was
My back-to-back.
Who was your quarterback?
Mike Rogers.
It was a low-scoring week overall,
Aaron,
though.
really?
If you looked at the leaders in points for FanDuel, I'd say majority of the top 12 guys were not on anybody's FanDuel team.
I'll bet you nobody had Grant from Miami.
No.
Thought about it, but no.
Really? You thought about
Oh
Grant?
yeah, I thought about it. I'm analytical though.
Yeah.
I see a lot of processes on a daily basis. I
Yeah,
evaluate a lot of statistics.
Yeah. Okay, LaRussa.
Yeah, I thought about that a lot, by the way.
I think what hurt me the most was when you take a fullback.
Who'd you take?
49ers.
Oh, Hughes check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like him, bro.
Yeah, but he's like a Peyton Hillis kind of
he's a big boy.
running dude,
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
All right, so we're gonna Ryder, right?
Low rider.
Low Rider.
His
His
middle-
coworkers.
No.
New guy?
He doesn't listen.
First winner?
Yes.
First time winner?
So we got a pack of Phoenix. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my mic a little bit over. So we've got through the magic of television.
Power vested in me.
So we have Joe Mixon is our front Bengals card. Looks like we have a pink and a silver in here. So we have Joe Mixon, Robert Woods. Who is the pink? Anthony Gordon Seahawk pink. Isn't pink to 99?
199.
Is it 199? Man, he studies some cards. It is 196 of 199. Hot Routes, Tyreek Hill.
Now he'll like that one.
And then we got Uter Gross Matos.
Cuban?
Uter, is he?
No, I'm not.
Uter Gross Matos.
You just default to everybody, right?
That's right.
So anyway, not too bad.
Not
Seahawk
too bad, no big bangers.
is Geno Smith in Seattle.
He is the backup.
So Anthony Gordon is number dos.
Yeah, he's the third string.
You
but
like my bilingual.
but in
action
this
right there?
in this league, if you're Dallas, you've gone through 5 quarterbacks.
And Ben DiNucci, is he still hurt?
Well, I don't know. It doesn't matter because Dalton's coming back this week. So
okay, so he's got concussion protocol.
yeah, Dalton's ready to rock and
So
red
what do you
rifle
think
roll.
of who was the guy that hit him? Who wasn't a linebacker that came down and
On full.
Oh.
down? No, on
Dalton?
On Dalton.
Yeah, I
like
don't know because I only
downhill
watched
just
it once and
rocked
it got
him.
me
So, all right, so we're gonna top load Anthony Gordon because we top
because he's
load
pink.
at Turf and Dirt,
And
all
we
of
wear
the
gloves.
Numbered cards. You see that?
So shout out to any breakers who don't wear gloves and top load anything or penny sleeve anything.
Wow. Calling out the big boys.
Yeah,
You need
so
to top load soft sleeve. You guys aren't
Get
going
your
through
boogers and your fingerprints all off there.
That is right.
So link is posted on the Facebook page. We'll get it up on the Instagram page. It'll be all over. Got to be in by Thursday night. Thursday night's game is Cardinals Seahawks. So a lot of fantasy options there. Going to be another high scoring, hopefully not overtime game though.
So we are looking at, 1 week where one of the 3 hosts won FanDuel? Is that right?
Yeah.
And we got our asses handed to us every single week
And I'm
since.
going to hate to admit it, but it was week 1 where it was the least amount of people in it. So
All right, so FanDuel, of course, if you beat us, but win and place first, right?
First overall.
You get up to
every
a
group.
$30 rip credit, Turf and Dirt. We are still honoring that.
So we need, what we need though is anybody who's playing, share our pages, share the, subscribe. We need to continue to grow the following. That's the whole point of
share, like, subscribe, hit the notification button.
That's the whole point of trying to, run this competition, this challenge is to reach out and connect, but to continue to grow the podcast fan base. So if you can help us with that, that would be awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, I would love to be able to fill 2 different leagues.
Yeah, if we can get
FanDuel,
two full groups would be nice.
All right, so we're going to dive into a little bit something here. And so this is going to be a little bit more Turf and Dirt themed. But so we ended up, Stacy was very big with this, and it was to start an account with a company that's called Authentic Street Signs. Now, I was didn't quite understand what it was, right? But Stacy took the reins authentic and went through it. It was Authentic Street Signs. It is some legit stuff. So we got the sample package here at Turf and Dirt. I mean, that's some heavy duty steel, right?
All Tony? I know is if somebody does break in, you guys got more weapons in this shop. These street signs are
one of the nice things is Authentic Street Signs, and I can attest to the quality because I unpacked all these damn things yesterday. It is not a cutesy plastic little sign. These are heavy duty, heavy gauge steel. Right? I mean, there's some serious blow torching and wheel grinding that is going on with this stuff. Now,
plasma cutting, it's called.
Correct. Well, sorry. I don't have the lingo all up. But they're all officially licensed by the various leagues. So we have NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, and the majority of the major colleges all have license to produce these signs. So you can get everything from large, what they call, what was the
magnets or
it's the
steel magnet.
Steel logo.
What is how do they refer to that? The
laser cut.
Oh, it's sign. The statement piece, the statement logo, which is heavy duty steel. It is on the wall,
powder coated.
130.
Is that what it is?
They're powder coated, made in the USA.
Yep. Can you say that
with authority?
Well, you just did. So if you want to see what some of the quality is, you can come into Turf and Dirt, take a look. We can drop ship signs to wherever you're at. But not only that, there is nightlights, magnets, all kinds of accessories. I was pretty excited to see it after I saw the quality because I was like, this is the kind of stuff that, fan caves are built upon.
Yeah, for sure.
We're going to have another commercial break. You're going to see a commercial that is going to talk about Authentic Street Signs. If you have any questions after you see it, go ahead and message Turf and Dirt. We will be happy to answer them. When we come out of the break, we're going to kind of recap the show. We're going to talk about next week, and we're going to sign off. So come back and see us here in a minute.
And we're back.
All right, guys. So this is it. This is episode number 9. So we're going to have a lot of releases to cover next podcast because that is the pre-Thanksgiving, pre-Black Friday podcast. You guys have a bunch of plans for Thanksgiving?
Oh, yeah. I got about 20 people coming over.
Yeah, I got about 44, 7 state patrols, and
you know that you can go to prison for that, right now? Huh? You can go to prison for that.
I'll be by myself because they won't put 5 or more in the cell.
Yeah.
So we're going to have quite a bit of topic to cover for next episode. Dare I say we will be holiday themed out. Yeah. There's still a little argument amongst the guests on how much holiday we should go.
I'm going to Grinch it out.
We're going to have a guest next week.
This could be a good one. Local guy.
It's going to be an epic guest, I think. Tony's going to really like it. He's going to carry his
I like the
bags
guy.
for him.
Yeah, I like the guy.
So
Got an East Coast
I think everything is going to go well. Good episode, guys. I'm loving what we're doing each week. I mean,
I think we bring the heat. We bring it raw.
You know, how are we not on like channel 13
PBS?
Yeah.
the local.
I don't know why ESPN
Instead
hasn't.
of like the Hulu channel, we're on like the Hobo channel.
No,
Is there such thing?
No,
we need to be on Disney Plus.
Oh, there we go.
Right next to the Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian logo
next
right
episode
next to us.
of Cards Corner.
So we're gonna bring the heat. We're coming in a holiday. It's gonna be fun. Like, I'm going big time next week. You guys are gonna have to bring the heat.
And if you think these are strong, wait till you try our eggnog.
Yeah.
The eggnog, the laced eggnog, spiked, however you put it. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, comments,
Reach out.
please let us know. We want to hear it. So
Don't forget to subscribe,
Hate
Like
us or
and
love
share.
us.
like, share, hit those notifications.
all right,
Let's go.
we're out of here
And we're out.
next week.